If the Jews were that powerful in American politics, someone like Zoran Mamdani would not win the mayor race in New York City, the largest population of Jews outside of Jerusalem.
We are here with Gates Garcia of We the People Media. So, sir, can you please speak on, Gen Z right now? Why are they falling into this rut that tends to lead to anti-Semitism, and how do we combat that?
Yeah, so Gen Z essentially thinks that the American dream has broken on them. They lived through COVID and they've gone through all these scenarios in their generation where they think they can't get out of them themselves. Housing has become unaffordable for them. The American dream has not become attainable for them. Family formation has become hard for them, and they're really looking for someone to blame rather than build themselves out of that situation. I always say to Gen Z that every generation before you has had something hard. We've had a Great Depression. We've had World War I, World War II. We've had the Great Recession when I graduated from college, and every generation before them has had the personal responsibility to own those scenarios, whether they cause them themselves or not, and fight their way out of them. But this generation, because of going through COVID and seeing the establishment sort of lie to them in various scenarios, they've lost trust in people above them in the chain. And so they're looking for someone to blame. And they're being told by grifters online that the Jews are the result of all their problems. And so it becomes easy in life when you can blame your scenario and your ill will and your situation on someone else rather than on your own responsibility.
And then we see the emergence of leaders like Zoran Mamdani, who, openly support anti-Semitism or October 7th sympathizers. And quite a few young people are very supportive of him and his administration. How do we lessen the influence that people like Mamdani have? So, like you said, young people can sort of pull themselves up by their bootstraps and have a regain of trust in the establishment.
Well, the first thing I would say is if the Jews were that powerful in American politics, someone like Zoran Mamdani would not win the mayor race in New York City, the largest population of Jews outside of Jerusalem. So we first have to realize that the Jews don't have this influence that everybody tells us they have in American politics. We're not owned by them. They're fellow Americans that vote just like we do and want the American dream just like we do. And if you look at most Jewish families, they're actually living the American dream. They're building families, they're serving their communities, they're educating their children, they have lower rates of divorce, lower rates of addiction. So they're actually people that we should aspire to be more like. And when you see someone like Zoran Mamdani win in a city like New York, you have to realize that this is just temporary. And there is sort of like this chuckle in the back of my mind that obviously, if I lived in New York City, I'd be terrified if he won the mayoral election. But I don't live there. And so I'm going to watch from afar for the next few years and see the destruction that I know he's going to cause to that city. And I think it could be a blessing in disguise when people realize, wow, this didn't work and we need something else.